Hey everyone, I'm Hashim, and in today's video I'm going to talk a little bit about what I use for building my website and delivering photos to clients as a photographer, so client galleries, as well as the online store within the website, which I use to sell prints and other things like my zine and so on. So the company that I use is called Pixpa, and I first joined up with them probably a couple of years ago, and I haven't really spoken about them since a video I did over on my other channel, Pushing Film, about 2 years ago, just explaining how I'd moved to Pixpa from another service called Pixieset and having tried Format and some other services before that. And in this video, I'm just going to share a little bit about why I went with Pixpa and changed to them that little time ago and how it's been going since, and why I chose to go with them over some of the bigger companies like Squarespace, for example, which if you're familiar with YouTube, you will see ads for them all the time, especially if you're watching videos in the field of creativity or photography and so on. So basically, to cut a long story short, the main reason I went with them is they offer the best value for money for what it is that I need in a website. My demands aren't super high in terms of the website, especially. If you look at my site, it's not the best, and most of that is my own lack of effort into making it look good and utilizing the templates to their best, but it's good enough for me. What I really want it to do is just to have somewhere to put up a portfolio of my work, especially weddings, which is where I'll often refer wedding clients to, or corporate jobs, for example, and just as a contact point, which is just something that's sort of a bare minimum if you're working as a photographer. And then the second part of the membership I have with Pixpa offers something called client galleries, which previously I used to use a separate service for called Pixieset, which is somewhere where you can deliver photos to clients in a neat and organized manner with lots of features like passwords for accessing the albums with separate galleries, perhaps within those albums, and then setting privacy options like a pin to download, different resolution options. It's really great. If you've never used one before, I think it's a really professional way to deliver images to your client. So like I said, previously I used to use Format for my website and then had Pixieset separately for client galleries, which was great, but then I was paying for two separate things and the costs kept rising on those services, and eventually Pixieset started offering a web hosting as well. So I moved my website to them. However, the features weren't quite as good as Format, and the overall price was still okay, but there were a lot of features lacking, such as the third thing I was really wanting, which is an online store, like I said, for selling physical products, prints, and whatnot. So then the hunt was back on. I joined Pixpa because the plans they offer include the option for website, client galleries, and online store. And the online store options are quite flexible. You can choose, to only have a few products, to have a bit more, and so on. And at least with the plan I have, there's no commission. When I was comparing to something like Squarespace, there was a commission on the online store until you upgraded to a business plan or something higher. And just basically comparing them side by side, Wix, Squarespace, all those other options. Squarespace was much more expensive, so I was, the last time I paid was the yearly membership. It was about 200 and something Australian dollars, 250, and that works out quite well when you compare it to equivalent options from Squarespace. I'm not even sure if they offer client galleries, so you would be, if you're in my situation, paying for that separately with someone like Pixieset. So that's basically it. I just find that Pixpa is great for someone like myself who is a photographer delivering images to clients and wanting to do it in a neat and professional manner. You don't need as many features as, let's say, Pixieset for client galleries, because sure, their client galleries might have been a little bit neater with more options for visual customization, but even the last wedding I delivered, the client was like, wow, that's really neat. I love the way, these are delivered. They're not just in a Dropbox folder. And then, like I said, for my website, it delivers my minimum needs for that, as well as having that great online store experience, which I've used to sell at least 100 copies of this zine, and I've sold prints internationally. It all integrates quite well, and I have a plan that suits my needs. It's not the very, very top tier one. It might be the one below that, but the value for money is great. So if you're looking for something yourself, obviously do your own research. And the first thing I did just when deciding to make this video was having a quick look at the current prices and comparisons of, let's say, Pixpa versus Squarespace, because you'll get all these sites pop up with comparisons, and just having a quick glance through them, obviously it seems like you have to be careful how many of these sites you can trust, especially when it seems incredibly biased towards one website. But then that might be because the reviewer just found more benefit to that service. And I generally found that Pixpa seemed to offer better value for money in those comparison tables. But again, take those with a grain of salt, do your own research. And obviously for myself, I've tried to be as unbiased as possible, but I am also putting a link to an affiliate program that Pixpa has, which if you use, you can sign up and get some kind of discount. I'll put the link or the code in the description of the video, but take that with a grain of salt if you must as well. But I can genuinely say that I find that they're really great value. And in my honest experience, having used it for the last couple of years at least, is that it works great for me. It's saved me a lot of money compared to something like Squarespace, Pixieset, piling on all these services. Having everything all in one place has been really beneficial and easy for me. I don't like putting too much effort into this sort of stuff. I might be different, but again, it works well for me. So other thing worth adding is that also with their customer support, it's sort of an online chat that you can just message anytime. And even though they're in a different time zone, I've always had really quick responses whenever I've needed something. Sometimes it's just been a small request where I probably could have done it myself, but they've gone ahead and done that little fix for me on the website. And when I've had questions about account related things or how to change certain things that I couldn't do, they've been really helpful and friendly. So that's good as well. And again, if you want more information, I'll put a link in the description. There is an affiliate type commission program, but it's sort of like you get a discount, I get a kickback thing. And of course, do your own research and find what suits you best. In my case, I am very happy using Pixpa, and I'll probably keep using them for a while. And I hope this was helpful for you if you're looking at finding a service for building your website, or maybe opening up an online store or client galleries, and all you see is those Squarespace ads because they're the dominant player in the field. I'm sure they're great, but then in my research, I found they're a little bit too expensive for my needs and I couldn't justify the price. So there you go. All right, I hope this one was helpful. See you in the next video.